Hey guys, what I want to talk about in this lesson is multi-pedal orchestrations. Now what I mean by this is taking a specific pattern or phrase for your feet, so let's say double stroke roll, and splitting it over multiple foot pedals. Now obviously for this type of, to learn this type of technique, you would need more than a bass drum pedal and a hi-hat pedal. That's normally what we're given. So choices for this can either be, if you have a double bass pedal, then all of a sudden we've got 3 pedals, or if you want to put, like I've got an extra cowbell on a foot pedal like that. You might want to go out and get a gig block on a pedal, a tambourine on a pedal, whatever you can think of, but we need more than 2 pedals to perform these exercises. This is the foot pedal setup that I'll be using in the video. So let's take a really basic pattern. We'll take a double stroke roll. So how this would normally move over 2 pedals, so you just had a bass drum and a hi-hat, would simply be so what we can do is we can move it across multiple pedals. So let's say you've only got a double kick and a hi-hat. So every single time it comes back to hitting on my hi-hat foot, I've switched it over to a different pedal. Let's take a look at another phrase, say a paradiddle. And then what we do is we move over our hi-hat foot to the double bass at some point. Now you can choose when to do this, and this way you can make up your own patterns. Now if you have more than 2 pedals, you can spread the pattern out further. One of my favourite exercises to go across all 3 of these pedals is a group of 3, which would normally go except I reverse it around, so it starts on my hi-hat foot, and then I spread the first beat of all of the 3s across the different pedals. Now the reason I love this type of multi-pedal orchestration is because of the rhythm that you get from these 3 pedals. Sounds like just instead of a snare drum you have a cowbell, and so it's kind of like we have our own groove going on our feet. And then when you add in the extra bass on your bass drum foot, it just kind of fills in all the gaps. Okay, let's go back to one of the simple patterns. Let's go back to the double stroke. So we've decided on our pattern. So it's going to be that's our pattern. Where do we go from here? Well, the first step is we want to build some coordination on top of it, so that way we can do stuff. So what I suggest is first try and put a groove on top of it. So this is in 4/4, so we should just put a normal type of rhythm on the top. Once you have that down, try and add some accents on the hi-hat. Once you have a good feel for making a bit of a groove on top of it, also try different snare variations. once you go from here, this is kind of like where you would start to go, okay, I've learnt my groove, now I want to try and maybe solo over the top of it. So how do we go from, just laying down a simple beat, having that basic coordination, to being able to play something over the top of it? It starts, for me, in a few simple steps. So I've got my pattern. First thing to do, play singles over the top of it at the same note rate. So what I mean by this is every time your foot comes down, a hand comes down with it. Then move to doubles, and this one should be easy because the pattern's in doubles. Now before we move on to the next step, you might want to try feeling around with different snare groupings. So what I mean by this is form little snare patterns. So once you've got a little bit of a feel for that, this is where we start playing different grouping again. So now we're going to play a group of 3. Now this will be a little bit harder because your feet are playing in 2s. So this is going to be quite difficult, and it may take you a long time to get this, but it's the perseverance that will pay off in the long run. So a hand playing a group of 3, while our feet are doing the pedal orchestration. After this, a group of 4, say a paradiddle. After that, a group of 5, which goes right, left, left, left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, once we've got that down, group of 6, double paradiddle, group of 7. You get the point. So once we've done that, we've got a really good coordination feel because our feet are playing something completely different to what our hands are playing. So once you've got this, you're basically in a realm where you could solo over the top, except for one last step. And that is playing different note rates over the pattern. If the pattern, chick, 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 let's think of that as eighth notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what we do on the snare drum is we play different note rates over the top, such as crotchets, quavers, triplets, semiquavers, etc. So after this, you should have a fairly good indication for and a good feel of your rhythm. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just quickly go over and show you different combinations, different multi-pedal orchestrations, and how I would play with some of them.